FM presents Rising to Stardom. Are you an upcoming contemporary or gospel artist and you want to get your music or song heard on radio?
And families often lie in social nuances, mindsets, customs, and conventions. This can be further complicated by lack of understanding of the legal implications of our actions.
Welcome to another fresh episode of your favorite family law talk show, Late Night Intercourse. Your host as always is Chioma Onyenucheya Uko, the Zest family lawyer, and we're coming live to you from your favorite radio station, People's 105.5 FM, Abuja, the station that's about you. It's all about you here. We bring you enlightening conversations, entertainment, and all of those things, that make your day educational, fun, and refreshing. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And tonight we will be discussing another family law conversation. As always, what we do on every episode of your favorite family law talk show is to bring you enlightening conversations that equip you with the appropriate legal knowledge on the issues that affect family and marriage. Those issues you encounter on a daily, so that you can deal with them from a point of wisdom, empathy, and legal awareness. That's all this program is about. Late Night Intercourse, every Thursday at 9 p.m. on your favorite station, People's 105.5 FM. Tonight, we will be answering a question that was posed by one of our listeners. And we're hoping that you can all learn from this question as we answer it. And that question is, child custody. Can a married man who impregnates a lady have custody of the child? Can a married man who impregnates a lady have custody of the child? That was a question from one of our listeners, and our promise always is to answer those family law questions you have. If there is any conversation you would like for us to take on, is there any question of law as it relates to family and marriages? Is there anything within the family law spectrum that you want enlightenment on, that you want us to advise you on? Whatever that thing is, you can send us a message on our email, latenightintercourse@gmail.com, latenightintercourse@gmail.com, or you can drop a message on any of our social media handles, or even send us a direct message to our numbers. The number will be 091 12 22 1055, 091 12 22 1055, or 090 80 000 633, 090 80 000 633. If you send us a message with a question on any family law subject, or a suggestion of any family law subject you'd like for us to address, to enlighten you on, to enlighten the public on, whatever it is, we'll be happy to take it, just like we're taking this one tonight that came from one of our viewers. And the idea is, we realize that the family, being the fulcrum of society, being the nucleus of society, needs to be healthy. And when our family relationships are healthy, our society will be healthy. So we want to educate you and enlighten you to the point where you are able to deal with those family law issues, like we said, from a place of wisdom, empathy, and legal awareness. And that's why you have to join us every Thursday at 9 p.m., just like tonight. So, in answering that question, this question revolves around the subject of the custody of a child. And in some of our previous episodes, we have made the point that once it affects any matter that affects a child, any conversation, any decision, any consideration, anything that affects a child, the principal consideration, the main focus, the driving basis of any decision will be the best interest of that child involved. What will serve the best interest of the child? What will meet the needs of that child? What will ensure that that child develops wholesomely? What will give the child the right environment, the right community, the right atmosphere to thrive in health and develop well? That's what the law is focused on. That is the key consideration in reaching any decision. The law will only look at other things from the point of how it serves that best interest of the child, which is the primary consideration. So in answering this question, what the law will look at is whether the parents of the child are married or not, whether the father of the child is married to someone else or not, whether the mother of that child is single or not. Those are ancillary matters. The key thing is that the life of a child is at stake. The well-being of a child is at stake. The welfare of a child, the best interest of a child is at stake. What will serve it best? The court will never look at issues concerning a child from the point of punishing one party between the parents or commending one party or giving victory to one party. No, those are not what the court will look at. And even where there are issues between the parties, the court will not look at siding one party over the other, giving one party an upper hand over the other. The court doesn't look at those things. What the court will only look at, and I keep stressing this because if we understand it, if it will also help us in reaching our own personal decisions on the things that affect our children, we will understand that when it comes to matters of the child, we should never treat our children like they are trophies, like they are poisons, like they are pawns, like they are, something with which to punish the other or gain an advantage over the other. We will realize that these are young lives at stake, and these lives deserve the best considerations that will help them thrive wholesomely. And once we engage from that consideration point, once we engage from that mind view, it will guide us in the best choices to make, and we will be able to raise a fresh generation of children who will make our society proud, who will drive the society we want to see in our future. That said, in this case, while the court is not really interested in whether the parties are married or not, the focus is on the child, like I've said. What the court is likely to do, or what may inform the right thing to do, will now be other things like, in this custody decision, should it be a sole custody? Should it be a joint custody? Should it be is one getting a legal custody or a primary custody? What kind of custody is the court going to even grant? Because custody is not just flat. It's not open-ended. Custody will always be defined. What kind of custody will it be? That's the first question before it. Now, in deciding what kind of custody it's going to be, the court will look at the options of, is it going to grant a sole custody to one of the parties? And in granting that sole custody to one of the parties, maybe the other party will enjoy a visitation right or a right of access to the child. Because the court realizes, the law realizes that the child needs to maintain healthy relationships with both parties, with both parents. Each parent contributes to the development of the child in his or her own unique ways. The child needs to feel loved, enjoy affection, enjoy, a healthy relationship with each of his or her parents. So the court is not likely to sever relationships between a child and either parent, except where there are compelling reasons to do that. So if the court is going to grant a sole custody, chances are that the court will grant rights of access to that child to the other party. It may be a defined access. It may be the access where the party may visit the child times, even advised, and all of those. It may also be that the child may be able to spend some weekends or some days in the month or some holidays with this other parent. All of those vary depending on the facts the court is faced with. The other thing will be, even if it's not going to be a sole custody, can both parents can they cordially maintain joint custody of this child? Will it help the child develop on the substantial issues that affect the child's life? Issues like maybe education or medicals and the rest of those. It may be the responsibility of the parents with the legal custody.
Mindsets, customs, and conventions. This can be further complicated by lack of understanding of the legal implications of our actions and inactions within domestic relations. To get
Lightning Family Law Talk Show, Late Night Intercourse with Chioma Onyenucheya Uko, the Zest Family Lawyer. The program is coming live to you from your favorite on a daily. And yes, we have been discussing the topic child custody. Can a married man who impregnates a lady have custody of the child of that pregnancy? The program 221055 or 09080000633. I'll repeat, 09. A drunk? Is any of them, wayward, irresponsible? Is any of them violent? Is any of them of such a personality or of such a behavior or conduct that critically look at? The other thing the court will look at is, what is the age of this child in question? What is the gender of the child? Now, while anybody can get custody of a child, the child's custody to the mother instead of the father. And this is not because the court thinks the father is irresponsible. No. Where both of them are responsible and there is nothing that disqualifies the mother, decided on the basis of customary laws, if it's private, or it's when it of the provisions of the Child Rights Act, because the Child Rights Act is the law that regulates and determines proceedings, and the mother could nurture the child best until that child comes to a reasonable age. The other thing that will also affect the consideration as to who keeps that child may be the gender of the child. Chances are that and the gender of that child. If the child is still tender, if the child is still too young, the court is not likely to grant custody of that child to the father, except where maybe they cite things like maybe by the mother's behavior, she's an alcoholic, full of energy, and it takes sometimes to